Hi everyone, Senior Scientist here. I'm going to start off, I'm going to show you a pattern that CryptoFront has pointed out. Okay, I really like his technical analysis because he understands Wyckoff accumulation. And that's important here because maybe you're wondering, oh, is my coin ever going to move? When you see Wyckoff accumulation, you know what's going to move. So I've heard a lot of people say, now we have big institution money and coming in and into Bitcoin, and that's why this is pumping, and that's why this is pumping. Listen, if they're there, they were there before the pump, and that's what you can identify with Wyckoff accumulation. So there's some people, I like a lot of different people's opinions on things, but if you understand Wyckoff, you can look at things like Jasmy and stuff, and they're saying, oh, if we ever get an Ethereum ETF, then that will drive a lot of big institutions and bigger players and big whales to come in. But the thing is, they are buying low. All right. So what I'm trying to say is, like with Jasmy, with these other coins, with Filecoin, with all of them that we've been looking at, they've already been there, if you understand Wyckoff. All right. So let that be an encouragement. If your coin hasn't popped yet, just wait. They're waiting, and they're getting out some weaker investors right now. Okay, so look at this pattern here. I'm going to share with you a little bit on this video. So he's going through Jasmy here,
something like,
but it applies elsewhere.
I'm saying get back to some. Okay, it's getting back there because we have been there before. So we are looking at another something like 100% to show up right here, right? If you are looking for where I'm getting this thing here, we have got examples that I've shown you time and again here on the channel. You can see the first example here would be Ethereum. You see this rally, you see this crash, you see this retrace that happens here. You go into the accumulation here, and then off to the way.
Okay. So did you hear he's going through an example here on Ethereum? All right, this is just one example. So the point is, you got this rally, got this crash, comes up, kind of another down, and this is all reaccumulation. Okay, and then it takes off into this rally here. Okay, so that's the important part. Let's see what other. I think he's got some other examples here.
Specific price target price here, in which you can actually determine by.
And there's a specific price target. So we'll look at that at BCH.
Adjustment 2 from the very top of that structure to the very bottom here, and you see that it is actually the full Fibonacci extension level right there. Another example that I can possibly give is the Binance token right there, and this is exactly in something like 2017, and you also see this rally, crash, retrace, reaccumulation thing kind of happening, and then eventually you go ahead to hit the full Fibonacci extension. So that is fantastic right there. So the other example,
so that's Binance,
that we had was Neo back then in 2017 as well, and you see this rally, you see this crash, you go into retrace, you reaccumulate right here, and then again you are to hit your full Fibonacci extension level right there. So from the very top right there of the structure to the very bottom, you see it hitting. For the full extension of that right there, we are here on the price. So let's just go ahead and round it at 4 cents, as we say, in actually indication that it is very bullish right here. You all was supporting the wasn't letting it go, right? So we'll see what happens right there. This is my base case. I mean, I can be wrong, obviously.
So he shows a lot more examples. I don't know if it's in this video or not, but he shows other examples of using Bitcoin itself. Bitcoin has the same pattern. I think Solana has the same pattern. So let's go now to Bitcoin Cash and see where we're at. Okay, because I see the same pattern in a lot of the coins. I think they're all getting ready to pop. So this is Bitcoin Cash, and here let me hide some of these here. Let me just lower that. Okay. So Bitcoin Cash, this is on 30 minutes, so let's go to the 4 hourly. And, okay, just had to get it set up, sorry. And on the 4 hourly, okay, so what do we have? Okay, we've got, I think this is the same structure. So he was showing the 4 hourly there. So you got this rally, crash, comes up, down, reaccumulation, and then it should be off to the races. Okay, and so again, where does he say the target is for this next rally? And each one of those examples he showed were giving a full Fibonacci extension, which I don't know what that means other than it's the 4.236. So let me get the magnet on here just to make it easier. Whoopsie. And go to the Fibonacci tool. So on Bitcoin Cash, we take the top here of this rally point there to the very bottom. And I might have to change this around here. I might have to make sure it's not on log. So it shouldn't be on log scale. Where's the settings? There we go. Settings. Let's make sure it's not on log. Okay, not on log. Let's make sure we have the 4.236. We got the 4.236. Okay. So where does that put our price point? Whoops. Let me go back. Undo. Okay. So where does that put our price point? So if we're going to be seeing now the same pattern going up, down, down, and it might kind of come down there and then go up, right? And we're getting pretty close to that whenever it goes. And again, this is on the 4 hourly, so I think it's going to be soon. The 4.236 is right there, 1,147. Should see that 1,147. And this, in my opinion, is kind of getting going for the bull run. Then maybe a bit of a pullback there and kind of do similar structures from there on out. But again, I mentioned that there are others that have the same structure. So as BCH, Filecoin. I don't know if it's as evident. Let's take a look. Yep. Filecoin, we see that same thing. Again, we have, it looks like right here, come up, down, down, reaccumulation, and we're getting ready to go. So it could be very, very soon. And what is that? What is that target here on this one? On Filecoin. So Filecoin going up to the top. The very bottom. The angle of these things on the pattern look a little different, right? So don't let that throw you. But what is this 4.236? $22. So that's probably where we're going to be heading here on Filecoin. Right now we're at $10.58. Again, it just kind of starts going up there. Now, how about what other ones have we been looking at? We've been looking at Highstreet. I've got Highstreet. I've got XCN. These are all holdings of mine. And I still have Highstreet. I think Highstreet's getting ready to go already. So that I mentioned that might be a little bit ahead of some of the others. Don't really know. I think the timing is impossible. I've given up on that. But again, we've got this rally, crash, come up, reaccumulation, and it's kind of getting ready to go already. And where does that put us? Where does that put us for Highstreet? And Highstreet, I think, has good 2-3x potential here in the short term. But it's good to kind of look at these targets, and again, this isn't like bull run target. This is in the short term, okay, in the immediate future. So CryptoFront went through Jasmine. He goes through ICP. So you want those, you go to those. I'm not going to redo his own work because he's the one that pointed this out. And I finally understood what he was seeing. And I was like, now once you see it, you can't unsee it. And it's all over the place. Okay, so the 4.618 on Highstreet is at 4.806. 4.806. And right now we're at $2.42. So we're going to double there in the short term. I just think all these things are getting ready to go. So there's some that have already gone. Solana is one that has been kind of going a little bit. And what do we see? So check this out. This is how close we are in this pattern. Do you see it now? Do you see the rally, the crash, come up here, a little bit of accumulation, and now it's going? Do you see that? It's right there in Solana if you miss it. Again, this is in the smaller time frame. I know it's kind of crazy, right? But do you see how you kind of have this pump here? Boom, crash, came up, kind of comes down a little bit, another little dip there. These are all accumulation. So we see these dips going, these red days. It's so bullish, it's not even funny. So, I mean, anybody who's been in crypto now for the last few months is used to dips, right? But these dips are all still creating higher lows, all of them. So this is just Solana as an example. And Solana getting ready to top out. Where will that go? And this is probably where I'll get out and put it all into BCH or one of the others. I have a very small position in Solana because I kind of got in a little bit late, but Solana is heading up right now to that full extension. 4.618 is at $262. So that's in the short term. Again, this isn't bull run predictions. These are short-term predictions. If you have money right now and you're wondering, okay, where do I go? Where do I go? Algorand, I think is good too. Quant, that's already starting to go. You see how some of these are starting to pump a little bit? They're getting at the end of their accumulation. And then we look at these others, we're like, oh, they're not moving. ICP's not moving. ICP, oh yeah, you know, it had that nice pump a while back and maybe it's done or whatever. Are you kidding me? Guys, you need to understand Wyckoff. Again, Daniel Wyckoff, one of 5 titans in stock market analysis. Okay. I'm on the 1 minute. What am I doing? Let's do 1 day. ICP is extremely bullish. Am I on the 1 minute again? What's going on here? Day range. I don't know what's going on. Oh, here we go. I'm not used to using this sideways and doing full screen. Used to using it in the not landscape, but in the whatever you call that. Okay. Again, once you understand Wyckoff, so I've heard people say, "Oh, we need to get this thing pumping and bring in big, smart money or whatever, right? Whatever you want to call it." Guys, this is Wyckoff accumulation on the bigger time scale. What do you think is buying there? Do you think they're just pumping here and getting ready to stop? No. And then what do we see on the smaller scale? So have no fear, like none. Don't even hesitate. Like this is a great thing to be in. I know ICP is different, and the narrative and all that kind of stuff. They all are. And it really doesn't take, I would suggest less of the narrative, because if we were to buy into narratives like, okay, this coin that can do this, and that's important. I think definitely important. I mean, Ethan Galstad's been pointing out, Fetch AI has been killing it. My dad's in that a lot, and my dad's in Render, and pretty much everything Ethan says to go in, that's what my dad does. He listens to him, and my dad is old, right? So crypto is like the farthest thing on his mind, and I shared with him Ethan's videos about a year ago, I think in beginning of June last year. And I said, Dad, you should take a look at this stuff, and he's in the ministry, so, doesn't have a lot. And so he was able to kind of scrap together what he can, and he's looking at a fantastic, he'll never retire. My dad is a workaholic, and he'll never ever retire, and thank goodness, because he's amazing and he continues to serve people. But he'll have a lot more breathing room, and he already has. So everything Ethan says he's been doing, and I've seen his account, it's phenomenal. And man, so I love Ethan, not just because of that, but I think what he's doing is great, sharing all the advice and putting together all the videos. How many people do you know with his status that do that? Nobody. Now, I grew up around that. So in my upbringing, my other side of the family, like my cousin he was like my twin brother. We're the exact same age. We've been together since birth, same school, same church, we went together near college, been together our whole lives. And his family, so that side of my family has a company in Minnesota here called Crown Ironworks. And now they have another company called Emprimus, EMPRIUS. You can look both of those up. Anyway, they've got, way more than Ethan. And so I've grown up around all that. I've seen both sides, and they keep everything secret, like locked down, like super, super, super private. And I see Ethan sharing what his experience. I think it's because Ethan came from nothing and built his empire. And it's pretty cool to see that he's able to share that and treat others as equals. Whereas I've seen it, I mention who my relatives are in front of, politicians, senators, you name it, and they completely change their tone around me. So I worked in media many, many years, and I would meet a lot of these people, and they would completely start kissing my butt because they would find out who my aunt and uncle are and stuff, and it's kind of crazy. Anyway, I don't know why I'm sharing all that. I get kind of personal on here, but yeah, so ICP is getting ready to go. And the narrative, I don't know if the narrative is as important. Maybe it is. So I could be wrong on this, but Bitcoin, maybe because it was the first, but like, why isn't all people, if you were to buy in the narrative, then everybody would just be in Bitcoin Cash. Maybe they are. Maybe they are. There's only 21 million, and man, that thing's going to get ready to go. But this has the same structure ICP does, right? We've got this rally, this crash. I mean, this is all accumulation here. And then it's kind of getting ready to go. And I will say, I could be wrong on this smaller scale thing. Let me delete that. But it appears to me, right before they do go, there's even this other very small accumulation that takes place. So if we go back to Solana, and I could be wrong on this, maybe this is just a coincidence, but you see how right before they go, they really have that tight accumulation scheme going on right there. You know, real close. And again, we might experience dips. Maybe I'm reading into that a little bit, but I see that with a lot of these now. We're getting these real tight kind of. It could be reading into that. But anyway, follow Crypto Front. I thought that was pretty good information. Hopefully you got some price targets out of that. Are there any others I was following? Filecoin. Yep. So he does Filecoin. He does ICP. So I don't want to get into that. He does Algorand. And I don't know what others he's got. AMP really soared, didn't it? Jeez. So I did have a lot of AMP, and I sold it right before it took off. But my dad made a killing on that, so I did tell him. He did follow that advice. Ha ha, Ethan, got you there. Yeah, that pumped like 200% in the last few days. So he owes me a steak dinner. Anyway, yeah, I'm waiting on Highstreet, Bitcoin Cash, XCN, Quant, Algorand, Jasmy, FIL, ICP. I think they're all getting ready to pop. All right. So follow Crypto Front. Caesar Gets Crypto is one that Ethan, he's got a good relationship with him, and he does a great job, and it's just great to see people's analysis and get their opinion. And we all are just basically waiting on the big bull run, right? If you have plans to sell right now, fine. Maybe you're doing more of a day trading, but I think ultimately we're all just looking at the long run. And I see Bitcoin Cash. If you watch my previous video, I don't see why it's not going to go up to 50,000. You know, I mean, let's just say 30,000 to be on the safe side, but the chart shows 50,000. I don't think that's a stretch when we're looking at Bitcoin. You know, Bitcoin, if that goes up to 200,000 or 300,000 by 2025, and then we put in, I can't get out of my head, Ray uses Bitcoin Cash, another guy, really love his channel. We have the Bitcoin Cash podcast. We've got all these. And so Ray uses Bitcoin Cash. I mentioned this a long time ago, but he shared a document. He didn't share the document, but he shared that. So he's in tech, and many years ago, I think it's just before Bitcoin came out. And this, by the way, I looked this up. Others have seen this too and reported the same thing in the tech industry. There was a document that went around describing Bitcoin, that there's be this thing called Bitcoin, and that would be basically digitizing gold, but that it wouldn't, and it had price points throughout the years all the way up to 2030 on this document he claims he saw. He couldn't find the document. He searched for it and it's since gone. But this document went around talking about, and so he's recalling the details of it. And I have seen this reported elsewhere. I couldn't tell you where, but I searched it out, and I did find other people who said the same thing. Ray uses Bitcoin Cash. There's a document went around, talked about Bitcoin, had price points, and that it would be like, I don't want to misquote him here. I might be recalling incorrectly here, but I thought he said something Bitcoin would be like around 200 to 250,000 by the year 2025. And that there would be this cash, because Bitcoin wouldn't be able to handle transactions on a global scale, and the fees are so high, and the traffic can't handle it because of the block size, there would be this cash equivalent, the document stated. And this cash equivalent would rise to be worth half of what Bitcoin would be by the year 2025, or in the year 2025. And then by the year 2030, they would be of equal value. And I don't remember what he says, if that was like 500,000 or 600,000 or 300,000, I don't know. But the two would be of equal value then at that point by 2030. And I keep thinking about that because it's really, really interesting. We see Bitcoin on the rise here. We got 2025 coming up in just a few months. And it's almost as if we're aiming for that $100,000 mark for Bitcoin by the year 2025. And when I look at Bitcoin Cash of where we should be, and we should be up here by the 2618, or the, is that right? Yeah, the 2618, and that's roughly 50,000. And I go, that's crazy, because several months ago, Ray Uses Bitcoin Cash said that he read this document, and that in the year 2025, this cash equivalent to Bitcoin would be worth half of what Bitcoin would be in the year 2025. And let's just assume Bitcoin is going to 100,000 here within the next few, several months by the year 2025. And what if Bitcoin then does hit that 50,000? That's half of what Bitcoin would be in the year 2025, or going into it, or something around that time frame. There's too many things that are like overlapping here to be complete coincidences. I don't know. Maybe it is, right? Maybe it is. But I was just thinking about that the other day, and I was like, this is crazy. But maybe it doesn't get there. Maybe it only gets up to, I don't know, 20,000. Still a lot of money to be made in this bull market for sure. All right. Hope this video wasn't too long. Hopefully that was inspiring. Be in it for the long run. We've got a long ways to go. I'm going to keep buying. I've got money every single time my paycheck comes in. I got money taken out. Money's going right into this stuff. And so I'm going to keep those coins in mind. I think they're all getting ready to go here in the next week or two. We're heading to the next level. Ethan talks a lot about this. We're not in the bull run yet. This is not the bull run. So I think we're kind of leading into the bull run, and we need to get to that next level. If you look at Wyckoff accumulation, the real wealth is built in phase E, and we're still in phase D. And so we need to get to that next level to even get into phase E. And that's where, according to Wyckoff, that's where the real wealth is built. And so we could say maybe that is the bull run in phase E. I don't know. Something to think about. Something to be excited about. Peace.